know the Puerto Rican that I know, or Puerto Rico, where I'm in my home state of Delaware, they're good, decent, honorable people. The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
Well, let's hear what the world's most famous garbage man has to say.
How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
Now, even though Donald Trump has quickly used the term garbage to troll his opponents, we cannot ignore one thing. The Commander-in-Chief of the United States of America and the leader of the free world has just proudly used the word garbage for millions of Americans who support Donald Trump. And while Democrats are telling us that this was just another slip-up from the aging president, many people believe that his words were carefully chosen for sinister purposes. But before we even dive into these theories about Biden's awful remark, let's clarify one thing. 74 million Americans who voted for Trump in 2020 are not garbage. 61% of the veterans who support Trump are not garbage. Fire Chief Corey Comparator, who died protecting his family, is certainly not garbage. And 40% of Latino voters who plan on voting for Trump are also not garbage either. So Joe Biden should probably stop acting like a champion of our Latino community and apologize for alienating millions of Americans. Trashman Trump also took a moment to clear the air about what was said about Puerto Rico and that he does not condone such comments.
A lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico an apology for what the comedian said?
No, I love Puerto Rico, and Puerto Rico loves me. I don't know anything about a comedian. I love Puerto Rico. Nobody's done more for Puerto Rico than me. I took care of them when they had the big hurricanes, and nobody gets along better with Puerto Rico and the Puerto Rican people than me. They love me and I love them.
But Tony can say stuff like that because no one is going to take his words seriously. You know why? Because he's a damn comedian. Joe Biden, on the other hand, is supposed to be the president, so of course people were angry. But when reporters asked White House Press Secretary KJP to explain Biden's comments, she began immediately gaslighting them by saying this.
Can you just address the president's comments yesterday referring to Trump supporter as garbage? And I know he's tried to clarify that he was trying to talk about what the person said. But one, I guess I want to know, does he think less of Americans who support Trump than he does of those who do not? And two, why is he using that kind of rhetoric? How is that presidential?
So a couple of things. So just to clarify, he was not calling Trump supporters garbage, which is why he this is why he wanted to make sure that we put out a statement that clarified what he meant and what he was trying to say. And so just want to make that very clear for folks who are watching. And I just want to read that out to folks. So he was regarding to the comedian, and I quote, "I referred to the hateful rhetoric about Puerto Rico spewed by Trump's supporter at his Madison Square Garden rally as garbage, which is the only word I can think of to describe it. His demonization of Latinos is unconscionable. That's all I meant to say. The comments at the rally don't reflect who we are as a nation." And to your question, your other question that you asked, no, he does not view Trump supporters or anybody who supports Trump as garbage. That is not what he views. If the president has said this for more than 3 years now, he has said multiple times that he is a president for all. It doesn't matter if you live in a red state. It doesn't matter if you live in a blue state. He has said this himself. I have said it on his behalf. He believes that he's a president for all.
So basically, the guy can just say the most outrageous and hurtful things, and we're expected to believe that he didn't mean anything by it. But no matter how much they try to change the narrative, the simple fact is that this wasn't just another one of Biden's slip-ups. No, this was part of a well-coordinated campaign where every Democrat was trying to label Trump and his supporters as the ultimate evil. Just listen to what sweet old Tim Walz had to say about the Madison Square Garden rally.
Donald Trump has descended into madness over the last few weeks. And I think some of you don't miss on this. Go do your Google on this. Donald Trump's got this big rally going at Madison Square Garden. There's a direct parallel to a big rally that happened in the mid-1930s at Madison Square Garden. And don't think that he doesn't know for 1 second exactly what they're doing there.
Now, let's be clear. He's comparing Trump's New York rally with the Nazi rally that took place in Madison Square Garden back in 1939. And if you think he feels bad for his remarks, you should watch this.
Well,
You were comparing that rally to a Nazi rally?
look, I'm comparing it to the hate that came out of this, and I think they confirmed that.
You stand by that comparison, though, to a Nazi rally?
Look, the rally, you saw it for yourself. I'll let the American public make the decision of what they saw.
What about you, though?
So I know what I saw, and I'll just leave it at that.
And this man was telling us to stop the name calling to end the division.
I think the core principle, adhering to the Constitution, the rule of law, getting away from the name calling and the division. Elon's on that stage, jumping around, skipping like a dipshit.
Now, using these derogatory terms for Trump supporters isn't new for the Democratic leaders. I'm sure you guys remember these remarks from Hillary Clinton.
You know, to just be grossly generalistic, you could put half of Trump's supporters into what I call the basket of deplorables.
But we all know that these rich, lifetime politicians often use the word trash for a lot of good working class Americans. However, this recent use of the language looks very intentional, and some people wonder if they're doing it to create even more division within this country. We all know how violent this election cycle's been, and now there are reports about even more violence happening on Election Day.
And agents from the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security are warning law enforcement agencies that domestic violent extremists are seeking to terrorize and disrupt the vote.
And it looks like they're even preparing for such chaos by doing emergency security drills in Washington.
Morning.
Morning, how are you?
What's going on?
Just doing a test.
Oh.
And instead of telling the people that they do not have anything to fear about, the President of the United States recently said this in a briefing.
Do you have confidence that it will be a free and fair election and that it will be peaceful?
Two separate questions.
Very much.
I'm confident it'll be free and fair. I don't know whether it will be peaceful. The things that Trump has said and the things that he said last time out when he didn't like the outcome of the election were very dangerous. If you notice, I noticed that the vice presidential Republican candidate did not say he'd accept the outcome of the election. They haven't even accepted the outcome of the last election. So I'm concerned about what they're going to do.
Are you making any preparations, getting security briefings related to domestic security?
I always get those briefings.
All right, we gotta move on.
My, oh my. I don't even know where to start because there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, this man, who is the sitting president of a superpower, says he cannot promise to make the election peaceful. And after making it clear that he is not responsible for protecting democracy, he has the nerve to blame it all on his political opponents. And as for the statement about not accepting the election results, well, let's just hear what Democratic Representative Jamie Raskin had to say in a conference.
Up to us on January 6, 2025 to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified, and then we need bodyguards for everybody.
Yeah, you heard that right. The man is telling us that since the Supreme Court won't disqualify Trump in accordance with Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, Congress will, even if he wins. So here we have a Democrat straight up telling people that he'd rather have civil unrest than accept Trump, and we're supposed to believe it's the Republicans who are a threat to democracy? Well, from what I can see, there will be no reason for any violence on Election Day if this administration ensures a free and fair election. And of course, if they stop inciting people by calling them garbage and deplorable. And these tactics don't stop here either. Former President Bill Clinton also told everyone how Donald Trump will be using the military against his own people if he becomes president.
And he keeps talking about how he wants to get even and may have to call out the military on our own people. The danger within. I suppose that includes me. And I mean, basically, he's asserted the right to go after anybody that he thinks, in his wisdom, is a threat, right? You sign the oath says you promise to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And he said, I think I'll start with domestic. Bring me the Army.
Didn't the Biden-Harris administration already set the Department of Defense in place for this? Why, yes, they did. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris had just enacted the DoD Directive 5240.01, granting the Pentagon authority to use lethal force against Americans protesting government policies on U.S. soil. They're behaving like tyrants. First of all, after seeing what's happened in North Carolina, it's hard to believe that we're not already using federal authorities against our own people. I've told you all about what FEMA's been up to in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. As for what Trump plans to do, well, I just hope he starts releasing those hidden files and tapes so we can finally find out who's the real garbage in this country. And I sincerely hope that someone starts taking this trash out because people like Diddy and Mike Jeffries have enjoyed way too much freedom thanks to their powerful friends. And if Donald Trump can put them behind bars, well, I'm all for it. Now, you might be wondering what Kamala Harris has to say about Biden's comments. Well, this was her response.
His comment last night about garbage.
Listen, I think that, first of all, he clarified his comments, but let me be clear, I strongly disagree with any criticism of people based on who they vote for. You heard my speech last night and continuously throughout my career. I believe that the work that I do is about representing all the people, whether they support me or not. And as President of the United States, I will be a president for all Americans, whether you vote for me or not. That is my responsibility, and that's the kind of work that I've done my entire career, and I take it very seriously.
Have you spoken to him about his comments and his intentions?
He did call me last night, but this didn't come up.
As you can see, she was quick to distance herself from those remarks. Now, even though it's clearly a politician's response, I appreciate the fact that she didn't add fuel to the fire by defending Biden. However, I do think the damage has been done, and as he has proven time and time again, Biden is yet again Kamala's biggest opponent in the upcoming election. Every time she gains a little momentum, he appears out of nowhere to sabotage her. His actions are so strange that it almost seems like he's doing it on purpose. And speaking of strange things, people notice something wild happening. ABC News declared Kamala's win out of nowhere this weekend, leaving people confused. The election has been compromised. ABC television just aired the 2024 election results on ESPN Live TV during Formula One. ABC and their affiliates showed Kamala Harris's victory on screen. They are going to pull the same again. Now, apparently they were testing the election result system, but who knows? They might know something we don't. In other news, another large fire has erupted in a lithium recovery plant in Fredericktown, Missouri. According to the plant website, the 225,000 square foot facility is used to recycle lithium-ion battery-related materials from battery manufacturers, automotive OEMs, battery dealers, recyclers, and processors worldwide, and describes it as one of the largest lithium-ion battery processing facilities in the world. Even though the fire seems contained, Madison County's Emergency Dispatch Service told residents north and northwest of Village Creek Road and Madison 217 to evacuate immediately. People in the area are also told to shut their windows, stay indoors, and not use air conditioning as the smoke is toxic and can be harmful. This, of course, is yet another tragedy related to chemical plants, and we're going to keep our eye on it. We're going to wrap up today's video. Please double check, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.